Hey guys, and welcome back to The Binger. I don't want to sound like Natasha Bedingfield here, but Avengers Endgame is so close you can almost taste it. It's the movie event of the year, and I just can't stop talking about it. Yep, I'm addicted, and I'm not ashamed to say it. The trailers are driving me wild, and by this point, the entire MCU fandom is 99.9% certain that this movie is going to involve some sort of time travel. What we're not exactly sure about is what, how, or when. We know the why, to save everyone that they lost in the snap. Join me as I take a look at how the remaining Avengers could plan to save their fallen friends with time travel. Back to the Battle of New York. We've had some brilliant snippets of what's to come thanks to the trailers, haven't we? It's great to get a sneak peek at what's about to happen, but it's also driving me crazy. What's going on? What is Rocket sad about? Will everyone be saved? I can't cope. Don't pretend like you're not bouncing off the walls either. I know it's not just me. One of the biggest clues about time travel appears in the special look trailer. One Reddit user, W1117, took to the platform to share what he spotted. Most of us, including me, were busy going, ooh, look at Iron Man doing his thing, flying in the sky, to notice the cityscape around him. Luckily, there are people out there who are way less distracted by shiny things and more able to concentrate on the matter at hand. If you look at the landmarks of New York City behind and around Tony, there's one thing noticeably missing. This one might not explain how he goes back in time, but it's worth looking at as an introduction to the concept. One World Trade Center is the tallest building in New York, but when the first Avengers movie was being made, it was still under construction. You can spot it being built during the Battle of New York scenes. In 2014, it was officially opened with an observation deck following suit in 2015. It only makes sense that we would be able to see the building behind Tony as he surveys the landscape now in 2019. So why isn't it there? W1117 isn't the only fan that thinks this is a clue that the gang travels back in time to alter events. As if we needed any more clues, right? However, there are some who think that this is simply Marvel Studios using old stock footage to save time and money. Could that be the case? It seems unlikely, as creators know how us fans pay close attention to detail. What do you think? Either way, it's a given that Tony is going to scoot back a few years, and this just cements the theory tenfold if you ask me. Time travel has already changed events. I absolutely love this theory, so allow me a moment to get my geek on. It's just an awesome idea that leaves Uber fans like me running around the room like we've lost our minds. I won't lie, it's probably the case. I've been waiting a year for this, people, an entire year. As I've already touched upon, it's pretty much a given that time travel is going to be included in the Endgame plot. The MCU wouldn't erase characters like Black Panther and Spider-Man for good. It just wouldn't happen. Mostly because of the billions of dollars in revenue it would cost them. The glory is in how they get saved, and in some cases, who gets left behind. One of the biggest theories bounding around is that Ant-Man uses the quantum realm to go back in time. In the first trailer for the movie, Scott shows up at the door as Captain America and Black Widow look shocked. Cap asks if this is old footage, indicating that he hasn't seen Scott in years. In the end credits of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Scott is seemingly left in the quantum realm. He could have just gotten out and not had a clue about the snap. The trailer certainly points that way. If the gang are able to manipulate the quantum realm in such a way that it allows them to travel through time, then that could be the key to the entire plot. Some fans think that it has a much wider reach than simply saving the fallen Avengers though. As a whole, Marvel movies have always relied heavily on twists of fate. One Reddit thread asks why Hank Pym chooses Scott Lang out of all the people in the world to be Ant-Man. Similarly, why would Mordo bring Doctor Strange to the Ancient One when he is just some weird doctor with an attitude? If you think about it that way, it's all a little too convenient, isn't it? There are way more criminals out there more qualified than Ant-Man, and Doctor Strange at that point was just a bit of a douche. Why would they get the lucky straws? Well, if I follow this theory, then it's because all these guys had already met. The characters have traveled back in time to meet these people already, possibly after the events of the snap. Then the mentors were persuaded to seek out the characters. It's a little tricky to think about, but it does make total sense, I promise. It's all in the suits. Avengers Endgame is going to be all about unity and coming together for the greater good. Fairness, Avengers 3 did that too, but the good guys didn't win. It was a major bummer. but it gave us the emotional investment we all needed for Endgame. Remember when Peter Parker clung onto Stark for dear life, telling him that he didn't want to go? Yeah, that was a tough one to digest, that's for sure. How could I not be invested after a tearjerker like that? I'm only human after all. One of the biggest things fans noticed with the drop of the trailers is the new face marching alongside the Captain. Nebula has her game face on, presumably ready to get justice for her fallen sister Gamora. The only trouble is, Gamora wasn't technically part of the snap, so can she still be saved? Who knows? The remaining members of the gang are also wearing sleek new costumes, which some believe are the key to time travel. If it is all based on the quantum realm, then maybe these suits are there to protect them from getting lost in it. On the flip side, the suits could somehow contain the time travel tech. It wouldn't be a giant leap considering what Tony Stark has managed to invent so far. With the help of Bruce Banner, the Avengers could have come up with a way to save their friends that didn't involve the realm at all. Even though it's a nice hypothesis, I'm not entirely convinced. Michael Douglas, who plays Hank Pym, has previously gone on record to say that the quantum realm has a big part to play in the future of the MCU. Our money is still on that one. I like to give you all the options though. Knowledge is power, my friends. The hand devices are the key. In one of the stills from the trailer, we can clearly see that every character is wearing this weird watch-like device. It's blue and glowing. And, well, that's all the viewers know. Seriously, it's weird that people notice these things because I didn't. But I am grateful to all those eagle-eye fans out there, so thank you. Someone has to do the work around here, right? It can't always be me. I could be completely wrong with the suit idea. They may have all just decided to switch their look. Maybe there's more room in the budget now that there are less of these heroes to dress, and Cap decided to take advantage of it. Who says superheroes can't be into fashion too? For argument's sake, let's say though that the suits mean zilch. But these weird glowing devices are what it's all about. How would they work? What could they do? I'm no Bruce Banner, but it would be cool if the gang could somehow press these things and be protected by a force field. Maybe the force field allows them to travel through time while also maintaining a link to the present. Plus, they look sort of fragile, so it could throw up some interesting, oh no, I broke my device scenarios. If they're not time travel devices, maybe they're communication devices that work in the quantum realm. After all, it's not a straightforward place to navigate, so it would be beneficial if they could all stick together somehow, wouldn't it? It could be like a high-tech version of holding hands, like in kindergarten when you go on day trips. Doctor Strange uses the Time Stone. Oh, this one is a doozy, my friends. Remember in the last movie when Doctor Strange gave up the Time Stone to save Tony? Maybe it's just me, but it seemed like a pretty dumb thing to do, didn't it? Look, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Iron Man and wouldn't have wanted him to bite the dust, but giving up the stone wasn't a great move. Because of Strange's willingness to hand it over, Thanos was able to track down Vision and complete the set. At the time, we were all way too busy watching the events unfold to really take notice of the finite details. If you look back on the scene now though, you might get a different feel from it. The Time Stone seems to be actively glowing when the Doc hands it over. From what we saw of the other stones, none of them looked that shiny. Plus, the expression on Strange's face is also a little, well, strange. He seems to be in deep concentration looking at the stone like he's actually doing something else with it. All of this has led to the rather spectacular theory that Strange used the stone in that moment to create a time loop. It's not the first time that the Sorcerer Supreme has used the trick. If that's the case, then all the theories relating to the quantum realm mean absolutely nothing and we've all been barking up the wrong tree. That would be brilliant for Marvel writers who would feel rightly proud of themselves for keeping the plot under wraps. The fandom would feel a little stupid, but hey, at least it would add to the excitement. Some fans think that the theory was confirmed when Strange tells Stark that he's viewed 14 million versions that all end with them losing, bar one. Others think that the Avengers are already in a time loop and have been for quite some time. The trailer does show some old footage, but it could have just been there for backstory. It's also entirely possible that both the quantum realm theory and this theory both have parts to play. It's a difficult one to judge, but that's why it's so fun. There's more to this one though. Strange put a spell on Tony. Let's expand on the previous entry a little bit with this one because it's so worth spending the extra time on. Besides, you know you want to know more about Doctor Strange and his weird and wonderful powers? After all, he's not called the Sorcerer Supreme because he's able to pull a bunny out of a hat, you dig? When the Doc looked at all the outcomes and discovered just one winning scenario, he would have known what that looked like. He would have known exactly how that all played out, and that it was likely he'd turn to dust. On a side note, there's an interesting idea out there that goes back to the Doctor Strange movie. While talking to the Ancient One, Strange learns that you can't see beyond your own demise. However, he's talking about all these different outcomes, which has led fans to speculate he never simply turned to dust. If he did, he wouldn't be able to see them. Instead, his soul could have been trapped on a different plane. Knowing that this was going to happen, Strange could have put Tony in a time loop, sure that he was the key to defeating Thanos. That would explain why he gives up the stone so willingly. He's already seen the future and he knows that Tony is the only hope at saving everyone. If Tony is already in a time loop, then Thanos killing him in that moment would reveal the plan. See? Am I an evil genius or what? There are so many fans out there cooking up theories like they're Walter White. Hats off to these guys for rocking my world. It won't be long until we see who's right and who's wrong. What do you think? Am I crazier than the Hulk after a good throwdown, or could these theories be right on the money? Let us know in the comments down below. You know we love to hear from you here at The Binger. Before you go, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a big thumbs up. You'll make me really, really happy if you did. I just want to be loved. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.